Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the War Train here. Do me a favor, if you're not already subscribed, think about subscribing to the channel, guys. I try to put gaming content out like this on a steady basis, and if you guys enjoyed this video, do me a favor, please give it a thumbs up. Now with that said, today's video, I wanted to give you my final thoughts on Arcade 1-Up at CES. Now, they had a lot to show this time. You know, Arcade 1-Up had a pretty rocky start in the beginning. There was, problems with some of the games where you couldn't complete them because of bugs or whatever. It was the wrong sticks on the Street Fighter 2 cabinet. Instead of getting the bat tops, we got the ball tops, which we found out later that was actually John D., like the head of the business side. He's like the president of the business and stuff. He made that decision playing the Japanese version, so that was kind of a mistake on his end. But, overall, it was either you love it or you hate it. Some people absolutely love these things. Some people absolutely hate them. I do think that they are a ton of fun, but they absolutely do have their problems. And they did have a lot more problems in the beginning. Here recently, they have been doing a lot better and getting things a lot more right in a faster amount of time. Really, they've only been out for a couple of years now. These things are still pretty new. And I can't even imagine what kind of stuff we're going to see in the future. I mean, we're already seeing some crazy stuff. Now, as you can see on screen, first of all, though, I want to say thank you to Retro Ralph and COOLTOY for just giving us some awesome footage to work with. These guys went to Vegas for this event, and they were in there and showed all kinds of cool stuff. So thanks, guys, and thanks. A lot of us have been using their footage because, let's face it, that's the footage to use. I mean, these guys are in there showing this stuff off. But as you can see on Retro Ralph's channel here, here is the Attack from Mars pinball machine, and then you had the Star Wars one when the video first started. These things look amazing. Now, there is other companies that make these things, and they're either really, really expensive, or you have, I guess it's the Toy Shock. That one a little bit cheaper, but the quality's a little bit cheaper too, and there's some problems with that. And I'm sure there's some problems with these ones that Arcade 1-Up is going to come out with, but these things are addressing a lot of the issues with the the Toy Shock or Shock Toy or whatever one that people had problems with. And these things do look pretty awesome. Now, the one that you're seeing on screen is not going to be final production. You can see that this one does not have adjustable legs. So the final one will have adjustable legs, so that's definitely good for people of all different sizes, because you definitely want to be able to stand right up and, have this thing at a good height for you. But pinball's absolutely awesome. I'm a huge fan of pinball. I always have been. But it's just, the things look amazing. They look absolutely fantastic, and I was not expecting them to make pinball machines. I just thought they would make arcade machines, and that would be it. I think when I first seen that they came out, I don't think I realized that they were going to be around this long and this big of just somebody in this industry. I mean, they're pretty much leading the charge right now with this stuff, and they're diving into other things. And I think that was so surprising with this CES event, was all the different things that they are getting into now. In the future, it looks super bright for them. I mean, you see on screen right now, we got the NBA Jam cabinet. Well, this has the online support. So not only can you update the game, but you're going to be able to play online with other people. Now that is super impressive, and I can't wait to see what other cabinets they wind up doing this with. This is going to be awesome. Now, they're doing a lot more than just making arcades here, because there's the software. NBA Jam did not have online connectivity in the 90s. It just wasn't even a thing. So they had to go in and basically build that from the old ROM. So that's pretty impressive. Actually, that's really impressive. So that's super cool, and I can't wait to see what they do going forward with all the other games. Plus two, now we have a Sega cabinet coming out. So they're partnering with, just different people other than Capcom. And so some of the other companies that they've been, kind of getting licenses and stuff from. But having Sega jump on board is huge, huge news. The game that they have, I think looks cool. Golden Axe Revenge of Death Adder is something that was never released on consoles, so it was an arcade basically exclusive. And it's cool, especially for huge Sega fans. I'm definitely a Sega fan. I'm interested in the cabinet, but I want to see what else they're going to come out with down the road from Sega. A few of us have talked about, say Daytona. I mean, it's just, something that is gonna happen. I couldn't imagine that it won't. I mean, now that we have the Star Wars sit-down cabinet, another thing that they, announced and shown off that was nothing that was in the leak or anything. Or actually, no, that one was in the leak, that's right. But the Star Wars sit-down cabinet, that thing looks awesome. But that piece, like I said in the video where it leaked, I couldn't imagine that they wouldn't sell that separately, because a lot of people be super pissed off if they already bought the cabinet with the riser. So not at launch, but they are gonna make that, I guess, peripheral or whatever you want to call it, that stool. They're going to make that available, by itself at some point. Not at first, but eventually they will. And I think that's going to make a lot of people happy that want to be able to take their one with the riser and use it as a sit-down cabinet. But back to Sega, what happens now is that opens the door for games like Daytona, which is massive. That would be amazing, because we don't have a driving arcade game yet from these guys. And you can see that they're obviously trying to get into all kinds of different stuff. I mean, this company's growing at an alarming rate here, and it's awesome to see. I mean, it's just like, what are they going to come out with next? That's the coolest thing. So here's the sit-down cabinet on screen, and I mean, it looks awesome. This thing looks absolutely amazing. It's almost hard to decide, would you want the stand-up one or the sit-down one? So it's kind of cool that you'd have the option to get both. Or, get the other one and get this piece separately down the road. Because the artwork on them, too, looks absolutely amazing. So they're doing a lot of things right at this point. And going into the future, it looks like they're going to be doing a lot of things right. And like I said, they've had tons of growing pains. Not having light-up marquees. I think that was a big thing. It's nice to see that they're kind of incorporating them into more cabinets. Now, I can't wait for the day where they're selling light-up marquee kits on their website, so that you can just, switch out the marquee on your cabinet that you got in the beginning and put a light-up marquee on it. Or maybe sell like updated control decks. That's something that they don't do yet, but I'd like to see them, sell updated control decks for maybe the like older cabinets where pretty much you just swap it out, plug it in and you're done. It's already set up. Maybe a Sanwa setup, that way you don't have to go through modding it and buying all this extra stuff to do it. You can just get it right through them. That would be absolutely awesome. They are doing a lot of cool stuff on their website. I mean, you can buy individual pieces to fix your cabinets. You can buy the PCB boards, which is something I just recently purchased, one for the Final Fight cabinet, because I don't have the money to buy the Final Fight cabinet right now. I mean, I just got a Marvel one and I got a Turtles one. I mean, we just had Christmas, so I don't have the extra money to do it. So it's kind of cool to be able to get the PCB board and put the board inside the Street Fighter 2 one. That way I can enjoy those games as well, because I just really, really want to play some of those games, and it'll just be awesome to do it on a cabinet. So I'm excited about that, and I think that is just so cool. But they're even getting into the what is that, plug and play market, or the miniature kind of, I don't even know what you call it, these mini consoles or whatever. They shrunk these things down, and they come with little TVs and stuff. They're super cool. I mean, I definitely want to get one. These things are not real expensive either. I think they said they were around $30 or something. They look awesome. They come with old school style TVs. I mean, they're real little, and they got the little console. They showed a ColecoVision running Donkey Kong, and that's the one I would be interested in, because that was something that I had as a kid, and something I played probably on a TV that looked very similar to what they had, with the big wood grain and all that stuff. It looked like furniture more than a television. But yeah, it's crazy. Right here you see they got the golden tee with the bowling on there. That's pretty awesome. I don't think anybody was really expecting that. I think that's a perfect idea. If you're going to have golf and have the ball, the trackball, why wouldn't you have bowling? It just makes total sense, and I think that's a great game now to have, for not only in maybe a man cave in a bar or something, but for just kids and stuff. I mean, my kids would love to do bowling on there. I can imagine they're going to be smacking the screen nonstop, but let's face it, it's a blast. And it was something I wanted them to do, is to re-release some of the cabinets with updated stuff, and it seems like they're doing that. They got the Street Fighter 2 with lighted buttons, and it looks like a lighted marquee on here. And that's the thing I'm hoping, is that they make a kit. I'm not sure if that's the lighted marquee on here or not, but I'm hoping that they make a kit that you can buy separately if you want to, because I think that will be absolutely awesome to do. The light up buttons look great, but I mean, like I said, they did have some problems, and some of the things that I don't think they can help, as far as the risers and stuff. Instead of making one solid cabinet, I think that is something with just I'm not sure if it's all about, it might be licensing, but I think it's just stuff like that, where if it'll be classed as something else if they actually made it one solid unit. I know a lot of people don't care for having the riser, and I mean, I have to kind of agree with them. I'd rather have a unit that's the size it is with the riser, because without it, it's just way too small. Me, I have to have the riser. There's no other way to play these things. For me, I'm not going to sit on my knees, or sit on the ground, or on a tiny stool or something. It just seems weird to do that. I'd rather be able to stand up, or have some kind of a stool to play on, but still have it at that height. It just seems right, but so I think that problem is something that they're probably not going to be able to get around, and if they got to have the custom riser or the risers, then that's fine. At least now they're doing them custom, that they match the cabinet and that they look cool, because let's face it, they look a lot cooler than just having a black one that says Arcade 1-Up. I mean, that was pretty lame that they did that. The only one I have that has that Arcade 1-Up looking riser is the Street Fighter 2 one. I know now they do sell the custom riser, but I mean, I don't think I'm going to go out and buy that thing. I'm fine. At least the black one kind of matches the cabinet. The other one, it has kind of this gray and black speckle design, which it probably look all right on it, but I think, I'm fine with the black. I wish it didn't say Arcade 1-Up on it, but it's fine. I do like these custom ones. I think they look great. The Marvel one looks awesome. The Turtles one looks awesome as well. And some of these other ones look just fantastic. There's still a bunch of cabinets I want. I mean, you know, they're so cool. I definitely want a Mortal Kombat one, you know, and I really did want the Final Fight one, but I wanted the Final Fight one mostly for just the games, you know, not the cabinet itself. I mean, it does look cool, but I'm just more interested in the ROMs on it. That's why I wanted to, you know, now that I seen I could pay $30 and get that board, boom, right here, I'll just throw it in the Street Fighter one. I think that's awesome, you know, and I'll maybe even look into a way to see if I don't know if I could do it, but somehow just switch the boards over with a button or a switch or something, you know. That would be something to look into. That way I don't have to keep opening it up and swapping the boards out, even though that's not a big deal anyway. But these things are pretty easy to get into and access and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I think they did a good job designing them for that aspect. And they are getting into the, like I said, with the mini consoles, they're also getting into like this dongle thing where it's like a USB dongle and you have like a huge joystick. They got a Pac-Man one and a Atari one. These things are a little much. I don't know. I guess they look cool. I do kind of like the look at them, but I don't know how practical they are to have like this huge Atari stick on your floor and having to control that thing, or this huge Pac-Man. But I mean, maybe they could be interesting. I think they're going to sell them for around $100. You know, it's probably more of a novelty than anything, but they are going to have like little other dongle systems where it comes with a controller, kind of like what Arcade 1-Up did, and they make sure on here to basically blast Arcade 1-Up or blast Act Games without actually calling them out, where they say, yeah, these are the arcade ROMs, the official arcade ROMs on there. Because Act Games, they tried to pull a fast one and send YouTube influencers, you know, the unit that had arcade ROMs, and then to the general public sell them, you know, NES ROMs, which is a joke. I can't even believe that they did that. You know, it's crazy and really, I think, hurt Act Games bad. I don't want to buy any of their products, especially after that. I didn't really want to buy any of their products anyway, but I don't think they're really that good. But I thought that was pretty funny that they did throw out that, you know, hey, these are the arcade ROMs, because they're pretty much the same kind of concept. You know, USB dongle and the controller, and you just plug it into your TV and just start playing. You get, you know, a certain amount of ROMs on it. There's different kinds, whatever. Great idea and great for the casual, you know, market. And it's awesome that they're putting actual arcade ROMs on there. Now that's definitely cool. And you know, if you see ones that you like, I mean, it's not going to cost you much to get them. So I'm totally down with that. I really like that idea of having these arcade ROMs on there, because I always wanted to be able to play the arcade ROMs instead of, you know, a console version of some of these games. Even though some of the console versions of certain games are absolutely awesome, in some cases they're even better. You know, but then they have these other like mini arcades that are replicating the ColecoVision ones of the like 80s and stuff, the ones that I had as a kid, which is awesome. But they have really cool games in there, ones that you wouldn't have seen in there back in the 80s, like DuckTales, Mega Man. Those are really cool. I'm definitely interested in the DuckTales one. So right here on screen you see the giant Pac-Man and the giant Atari. So these things are, they're crazy looking. You know, definitely crazy looking. And it's pretty weird to Pac-Man on here. He's basically trying to stabilize the Pac-Man one with his legs, because these things have to have like a stabilizer. But I guess in the video when they were at this, the Pac-Man one I don't think had that, so it kept moving around on him, and he had to hold it there, and it looked like it was doing something nasty to his body there. It's pretty funny. But these things, like I said, they're more of a novelty, I think, than anything. But then they also had the like countercades, like the Galaga, which I think is a new one, but they shrunk them down a little bit smaller, because I even thought that too. The ones that they have now are like $199.99 or something. They're pretty expensive for just a countercade. Especially for a little bit more, you can buy the whole unit. So I thought that was really strange. And I mean, now they're going to shrink them down a little bit and sell them at $99, which I think is huge, and I think that's a way better price for these things. I almost wish the first ones that they made were that price, because I think they would have sold like crazy. But for like $200, I think that was too much for what it was. Because like I said, you could pretty much buy one of these cabinets for, some of them you can get for $200. I mean, there's a lot of people that have, got them for the Turtles one for $200. So, there's deals out there, and to get one of these countercades for that, I mean, it's not a full-size cabinet. It shouldn't cost that much. But I could see these little ones, a little smaller, being $100. I think that's a pretty decent value, especially if you really like this game and maybe you don't have room for the whole cabinet. That's perfect. But yeah, they're doing some awesome stuff. And here's on screen the minis, the mini consoles from like the 80s I was talking about. And like they got Frogger, like I said, Mega Man. There's DuckTales with DuckTales 1 and 2. So, I mean, these have a couple games on it, just like the cabinet. So I think these things are absolutely awesome. And right underneath it, that's where they have these little mini consoles with the little TVs and stuff. And those things are just super cool. Totally unexpected. But I'm really liking what they're doing. I think they're really doing some cool stuff. It's really good to see. Especially, I've been supporting them pretty much from the beginning. I thought this was a cool idea. Absolutely love these things on screen, by the way. They're awesome. But yeah, I've been trying to, show support. I've been buying these things. I really do like them. They're not for everybody. That's obvious. They're a little bit pricey, a couple $100. I mean, let's face it. Starting out, say like the Turtles one, $400. The Marvel one, $400, whatever, for the limited edition. I mean, that's not super cheap, but it seems like some of these now, at least some of the games like Pac-Man and everything, you'll be able to get on some of these countercades, or maybe with the dongle. So that's good. So it gives other options for other people that don't have $400 laying around to, buy a cabinet, or maybe the room, so they buy a countercade, especially at $100. I mean, that's reasonable. A lot of people could afford that. But the pinball, in my opinion, is the biggest thing, and the online gaming. That is absolutely huge. I can't wait to see what they do with the online stuff going forward, and now knowing that they are dipping into these ROMs and messing around with them to try to put online capabilities is a huge deal. And the pinball machines, absolutely awesome looking. I like how they're building them with the play field drop down inside there, so your eyes want to focus down inside the cabinet. They look good. I mean, the quality looks good. It actually's got metal around like the bezel area and stuff, and going down to the legs. Even though that these weren't the legs that are going to be in the retail version, I'm just by what they've been talking about, it seems like they're going to be a decent quality. So I'm probably most excited for that. I cannot wait for the pinball to come out. That just looks so cool. And my biggest thing is, which one do I want to get? I really like the Star Wars. I do like the tables on there too, because I've been playing Star Wars pinball on the Nintendo Switch since it came out. I absolutely love the game. The tables are just fantastic on there, and I know that they're gonna have some of those tables on this game. I mean, let's face it, I think all of the Zen pinball games, Star Wars games, are on that game. Every table they have, so of course a bunch of them are gonna be on this, so that's really cool. And just having that actual pinball machine feel is excellent. I just can't wait. And I can't wait to see what they're going to do in the future. I think it's going to be absolutely amazing to see what they come up with next. So I got to say, they have done an overall great job at this year's CES. I didn't think from the beginning, I couldn't even have imagined they'd ever be doing anything quite like what they're doing. So it's really impressive. And I think they're, going to continue to be a really successful business because of it. Now, we didn't get all the cabinets that were in the leak pictures. Now, they do go in and specify that a lot of cabinets with, like, say, the leak, that they could be even concept ones, because when they go into these business meetings, they have to show concept of what they're trying to get the license for. So they basically already have to pretty much build one of these cabinets, take it into their meetings or whatever to show these, whoever developers or whoever owns these licenses, these companies, and show them what their idea is. And then they see if they like it, what they want to see tweaked on it. Maybe they want to see a different design, or say they're doing a game, that there's going to be 3 of similar games on it or whatever. They might not like the game that they chose, and hey, or instead of using this one, use that one. Like, say, the Mortal Kombat one, they went for the Mortal Kombat 2 artwork. Well, what if they didn't like that? What if Mortal Kombat 3 or something? Something of that nature. I'm sure they have to show them that so they can sign off on it and all that good stuff. But they're doing some awesome stuff, and they've got a lot of great licenses here, and I can't even imagine which ones they're going to pull out of their ass for the next, batch of these machines. I can't wait to see when we get driving games, light gun games, what stuff we wind up getting. I really hope a House of the Dead is something that winds up happening. Man, that would be absolutely awesome. Or, how... maybe like, how far they're able to get with, just the tech that they have inside these things. How far can they push that tech, say, with like 3D gaming and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely interesting. I think there's a lot of cool stuff we're going to see with them in the future. They did a absolutely just fantastic job. I'm blown away by how good they did with their showing this year, and I can't wait to see next year. I mean, I'm still just blown away at all the stuff that they got coming out, and just the things that I wasn't expecting to see. And so I know next year anything's on the table at this point, and who knows, we could see anything. But it's really cool. They're knocking it out of the park for sure. And from where they started at to where they are now, it's crazy to see how far they've came. And the quality of their machines are getting so much better. The first one I got, the Street Fighter one, I mean, it's very basic for the most part. Now, going to the Marvel one, it's night and day. I mean, the quality difference is crazy. Absolutely crazy. The screen's better. Obviously, the limited edition, it's got way better sticks and buttons, but the fact that that's even on the table now, the fact that that was something that was even offered, because that wasn't offered in the beginning. The light up marquee, same thing in the beginning, that wasn't even offered. So it's, they're taking all our criticisms and they're working on it. I know a lot of the issues are that maybe the marquee's washed out looking. Maybe they come out with better marquees in the future. I mean, this is the thing. They're listening to what we're saying. And I think that's the coolest part. They're listening to what we're saying about what games we want to see. They even say that they're listening. And I think that is a huge deal, that this company is actually listening to the consumer and the gamers that are criticizing them the most. So, You know, that's why you don't want to bash them, but you want to give them constructive criticism because they are listening, and it's only going to help us get cooler stuff, get cooler games, get cooler looking cabinets, get stuff like the pinball, because people wanted it and they're making it happen. But as far as my thoughts, they did a really, really great job. You know, I don't think they could have did much better because there's so many surprises, and you know, they're taking old stuff, re-releasing it with upgrades. They're selling individual pieces on their website. They've got licenses that you know, and stuff that people want. They're working with new companies like Sega, which is huge for the future. You know, Daytona cabinet, here we come. Hopefully, or not hopefully, but when we do see that, I am getting that one because that will be awesome. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, guys. What do you guys think about how Arcade1Up did at CES? Do you think that they've improved as a company as well? And improved with the quality of just the products and licenses that they're putting out? I truly do think they're doing great. But that's the video, guys. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not subscribed, think about subscribing to the channel, guys. I try to put gaming content out like this as much as I can, which is, I try for every day, but that don't always happen. But that's the video, guys. Thanks for watching. I'm the War Train, and I'm out. Have a good one.